I witnessed something last night during the protests out in the West Coast because of the elections that I think was something that was so important that I needed to make a recording of this and put it out there so you understand some things about what's going on. The live stream video feed that I was watching was from CBS, and it had of course, the commentators in the background, but it was the streaming video with another commentator, reporter on the scene, viewing the protests out on the highways in California that were stopping cars and causing people not to be able to drive. Anywhere else, that probably wouldn't happen because we don't have the laws that put the people more important to the vehicle like they do in LA. Even just motion like you're going across the street in LA and the cars will all, of course, come to a screeching halt, which is probably a good thing. But you do that out on the other coast or anywhere else in the country and you might get run over. But anyway, that's besides the point. The reporter was covering all the chaos down there and happened to come upon a protester that he asked a few questions to. Those questions were pretty good questions, and the protester was well spoken. I don't believe he was part of the paid protesters, as most of them are. This was a person that was actually genuinely concerned and voiced his opinion, which was a good one. What he said caused them to shut the feed down within a minute of him saying a few different words that I will explain to you in a moment. But before I do, I want you to understand some things that most people don't realize when it comes to what you're seeing on the TV, or in this case, a live streaming video footage. The images and the content that you see them showing, they could care less what that is. They can call it anything they want to call it. News, reality TV, comedy, drama, anything they want to call it. Doesn't matter. It's not about what they're showing you. And it is all about what they're showing you in a certain way that you don't realize it, what they're doing. You have to understand that a network, what it is, it's a corporation for profit. That's an important thing that you must understand, the definition of what a corporation for profit or for nonprofit ultimately is. Their corporate charter gives them the rights, gives them the ability to operate, to take part in commerce in a way that they are protected as you, a person, is protected. You are given rights, of course, by your creator. Well, when you have a corporate charter, that is considered a person with the same rights as you do. You are the god to that corporation, and when you create it, it immediately has rights. Unfortunately, it doesn't have a conscience like you do. Therefore, it is allowed to do things that you wouldn't do because you would possibly have accountability, and not by legal means, but by your neighbors, friends, family. It wouldn't be good for you to do things that were unethical or just downright nasty, like lying to people. A corporation can do that. When you see that all the government departments, all your local town utilities, all these different agencies like the police, they all have a corporate number assigned to them. You can look it up. You can see your police department is a corporation. You can see your sheriffs, they're all corporations. The United States of America is a corporation. It has a corporate number. You can look it up. It's not a conspiracy theory, it's a fact. There are some unincorporated locations around this country, but they are few and far between, and they are getting, of course, incorporated quickly. So you ask, why is this important to know this? Once you become a corporation, you have to do certain things. You have to conduct yourself in a certain way. And at all times, your objective is to preserve the life of the corporation, and that means profit. You must produce profit. You cannot make decisions that you knowingly will cause damage to the corporation or its affiliates, or make a decision for something that will not get you as much profit as something else in front of you that you could have decided for. Why is that important? Elected officials, their office that they represent, are all corporations. You, the people, this is where you have the problem, where you believe that the elected official is there to do what their constituents tell them to do. That is not true. There is no place that says that that is law for them to do it. But what is law is the corporation that they are governed by. And that means that all decisions that they make are made based on the profit that will come back to them and their office that they represent. The president, corporation. He's not going to make decisions based on what's right or wrong for people. He will make decisions based on the profitability of that situation. You can disagree all you want, but this is law. This is the reality that you live in. So when you think that this character or that character, that actor or this actor, is going to do the right thing for the people, you're fooling yourself. You're fooling yourself into thinking that you can make change by petitioning them, by rallying and yelling and screaming and doing whatever you think you can do, but ultimately you're filling out a form to say, hey, we don't want you in office, we want this other guy in office. It doesn't matter who's in office because they're governed by the same rules. That corporation is what governs them. They can tell you whatever they want. They can promise you the world before the election. They can promise you the world after they're elected. But when it comes down to it, everything that they do, all decisions that are made, are based on profitability for that particular office. So you say, no, that can't be right. That can't be true. Show me one situation that an elected official has made a decision that, when you look at the options that they had, was better for the people and was not the most profitable of the choices that they could have made. This is why you see corporations funding politicians. They're allowed to do this. Therefore, when they fund a politician, that corporation is bound to make decisions in their best interest. Not in yours, in the corporation that has given them the most money. This is the reality that you live in. Stop denying that reality, and here's how you fix it. So we'll go back to that protester that was talking to the news, and the words that he said that were so prophetic, I don't think anybody really even caught it, except for the corporate lawyers that, of course, watch everything that is being broadcast. He said the people wanted to be heard, and the only way for the people to be heard is to disrupt commerce. Whoa. Those are the big words. Those are the words you were never to mention on the corporation that is broadcasting that feed to the public. He said the people are only heard if we disrupt commerce, and that's when you guys react. Within a minute of him saying that, minute and a half, the feed was shut down. I noticed it. A couple other people were making comments saying, hey, they shut it down right after he said that. I don't think they really realize what he was saying and how it really impacts the business that was showing you it. But you must understand, the corporation that is that network is in business to produce profit. When you tell people on their network that, hey, this is how you fight back against these corporations, against these politicians, against these people in society that you see that represent a corporation that you know is doing something bad, but you think that you have no way of fighting them, that's how you beat them. So immediately, being a corporation, they must react to that type of threat. Even though it wasn't directly at the news, it was at commerce in general. That's what they partake in. That's who buys advertising time from them, businesses. When you say Coca-Cola needs to be put out of business, or Disney needs to be put out of business, that's borderline. But when you say boycott Disney's products, boycott Coca-Cola products, boycott Berkshire Hathaway products, that is a direct threat to their business, and they will shut it down. They will shut you down so quick because they have to, by law. Or they get in trouble by if they're a publicly traded company, by the stockholders. So I hope that you learned something by this little speech that I made. And I give props to that person that made that comment on that news feed. That was good. That was something that, if you all really think about how to fight back, you must affect the commerce. Vote with your dollar, not with your signature, not with your voting. That is useless. Absolutely useless. I've shown in my work, it doesn't matter who you vote for. It's all the same families. But more so, beyond that, it's all the same corporate law that governs those people once they get in office. Once you understand those rules, you will be empowered with the ability to make them react. Affect the commerce. Boycott those companies that I mentioned. Bring their stock price down and watch what happens.